Womp bom balloon bom blomp bam boom. Hello, today we're talking about some of our gear. I'm Terry with Video Content Factory. I don't know what this is. Is this documentary or is this like a new program?
I think this is something new.
Something new. We are in our warehouse setup, which was made famous by, of course, Matt Gambone over at MacTex on Main Street Mania. Go check him out if you need anything fixed, including cameras or lights or anything else we've sent them. Okay, so today we wanted to talk about one of the mainstays of our kit, which is the Aputure 600d. This has been out for a while and it's still just as good as it ever was. I still think it is the perfect starter light, if that makes sense. Maybe not a starter light, but definitely a finisher light. Ooh. This light came to us because we started having a problem. And that problem was that everybody started making videos where you could have a window behind them. Traditionally, you would have to get what's called a 2K, which is a light that gets super, super hot, mount it up on a giant pole and shoot it forward in order to battle the sun. And that was kind of the mainstay. So you would only see people shooting out windows on bigger league sets. What we used to do actually is we used to ND windows. We used to put a net up, which is another device that can cut light. We needed a way to do that easier. And the easiest way is the Aputure 600d. When this came out, it kind of allowed us to set up a single light with a big softbox, put a subject in front of the window and be able to shoot out and have everything at proper exposure. This thing became super popular, super fast. It's in everybody's kit, and I think it deserves to be in everybody's kit because it opened up a new way of shooting that you couldn't do before, or at least without taking some advanced time to handle the backdrop. I had to put in a lot of extra work in order to shoot out a window, which had become popular. Actually, probably Good Morning America, I think, is the thing that probably made it originally popular, of having like a backdrop behind you where people could wave and hold up signs and stuff. That was definitely Indeed, with a ton of studio light, but we just didn't have access to that kind of stuff. Until now! Well, until then, because really this video would have been better to drop like 3 years ago when we got it, but that's okay. So the 600D, it is big ass light. It's kind of what the 600D is, and the D stands for daylight. This is not a bicolor light. And there's a reason it's not a bicolor light, because it's more cost effective to get a daylight only. But also, if you're always using this when windows are present, you know that you want to be the same color balance as what's outside. Some people argue with that, they are wrong. If you see tungsten mixed with daylight, you're fucking up. You have to, if you want to have like an accent light or something, make sure it's somewhere in the proper color spectrum. But if a window's in your shot, make sure that you are using 5600 Kelvin rated gear, because that is daylight balance, so that the face of the person and the window behind will be the same color tone. You won't have one that's super blue or one that's super orange. You can change it in post, but point is, if you get this light, you can solve that problem entirely and have a wonderful set. The other thing I love about this light is it's kind of an all-purpose light, because right now the hotness in lighting is still flat light. If you talk to any corporate client, they want flat, brighter, brighter, brighter. You see that shadow you're trying to do over there to be cool? Get rid of it. Go brighter, brighter, brighter. And this light has a superpower, which is point it at the ceiling, turn it all the way up and hit it, and turn off all the other lights in the room. What you're gonna get is perfectly balanced, soft lighting on an individual, which we use all the time. In our setup, it is one of our 3 mainstay lights for any sort of interview that we do. We are 9 times out of 10 using it as the key. And the other cool thing about this light is you can bring it outside. So if you bring this light outside and run it either off a generator or off of 2 V-mounts, you can actually create a fill to the sun. I wouldn't recommend trying to key with it, but I would recommend using it as a fill to the sun, because again, don't be lazy. Figure out a way to make things look best. I haven't even seen what the lighting on this video looks like. Let's hope it's best, or I'm gonna look like a real asshole. All right, let's dig into it. I suppose I should go get it from our shelf. So I'm gonna turn over my left shoulder and go get it. Reset. We bought this. This is just a basic luggage roller. This case can go in a piece of luggage. And by the way, this is all protected. This is how it was factory sent. And boom, you can go with it. So now I can just travel with this light because no matter what scenario I'm in, I know I'm gonna be okay. For most people, this solved a major problem. I can now travel with the biggest, softest light I have, which there's a recommendation for you. If you're getting into videography at the professional level, one giant light is better than a bunch of little lights. Remember what corporate video is mostly. Mostly, it's a beautifully soft lit interview plus some unlit B-roll, or plus some soft lit B-roll in which you just need something to shoot off the ceiling, which this satisfies. So if you take away anything from this, know that you can throw this awesome 600D in its case, which comes with it, in a big old piece of luggage and check it, and everything is actually gonna be safe. Anyway, so you can travel with it. I'm gonna get rid of this, but maybe we'll do some sort of cool wipe where it's just my face and it's like, ah! I wouldn't call this an unboxing. I'm just kind of telling you why we use this light and why it's still a great light to have. Again, this is in most people's kit, and if not, it should be. Some people moved on to the 600X, which is the bicolor version of this. It just costs a lot more to go bicolor. Besides, back there, there's a 300C, which I think is probably the most cost-effective big light, but there's limitations of it because it's an Amaran instead of an Aputure. Aputure is the pro brand. Amaran is more the prosumer, but you're seeing a lot of Amaran show up on professional sets because they're very easy to use. One of the coolest things about the 600 is that it comes with a clamp. Yes! To make it easy to know that you have secured a ballast to a light stand. Hooray! So you can use this on a C-stand or a very high-end light stand. It is heavy, so don't put it on something like, remember those old Lowell lights that everybody, we actually have some here. Everybody kind of had that shitty yellow and gray kit. Don't put this on there. But anyway, this tightens around a pole, and then you take this guy. You hear that snap? You're not gonna mistake that. And now we know this is totally safe. What's great about this that people should talk about more are these two things on the sides. Black, black. This is where you would put V-mounts. All right, cool thing about this, and boom. It'll turn on like that, and this will allow you to power the light outside, like I said earlier, which is just really handy. However, this is a beefy boy, so it's gonna drain you pretty quick. So just be aware, but you know, these batteries aren't as expensive as they used to be. So if you roll with a bunch of them, you can do some great outdoor shoots, including like night shoots, where this is the moon. It's a very bright moon. So this guy comes with some cables, and you can see they are super nice, wicked cool cables with red dots on them. These are the red dot wicked cools, and you plug it in the output. That is where you're gonna plug in the AC to the wall. Now everybody gets on set and they're like, where do we? Output's on top, input's on bottom. So this, we're just gonna plug in. All right, make sure it works. There you go. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna plug this in because you'll be inside shooting out a window, because that's what we do in this business. We shoot out windows. All right, so the actual light itself, and again, all this comes with it, which is pretty cool. You probably got an awesome angle right now. Thank God for that angle. All right, packaged very, very nicely. Like I said, fully protected. This little beast is the 600D. Look at it. Do you see? Do you see? Okay. Comes with a little red cover. That's to let you know this is going to be hotter than hell. As you can see, we had some issues here with this one and just melting it. But, you know, everybody's got to learn somewhere. Little button to release. This is called the Bowen's mount. Say it with me. Bowen's mount. This is kind of the standard on most things, whether it's a Godox or bunch of other stuff. But anyway, it means that you can buy certain peripherals like barn doors or like a big ass lantern like you're looking at over here. But it comes with, comes with a reflector, a hyper reflector. And now it looks a little more like a light. You can walk into most corporate shoots, fire this thing at the ceiling, give it a kapow, and get rocking and rolling. It really is that strong. But how strong is it? Wha-bam! So that, about 15%. Let's increase. The Earth is just overexposing. Shoot into the void, Ben. But the point is, it's extremely powerful and can completely change this set. In fact, actually, let's do an experiment. There's a big light. Can you turn it off? Okay, but now you probably have some fairly decent exposure again, right? Yeah. Can you see me over there? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so all I'm doing is pointing this at the ceiling, and this is a black ceiling, by the way. If it was a white ceiling, it would be much brighter, but this is a black ceiling. It's still doing enough to allow these guys to expose. We shoot on Blackmagic, so typically we're shooting around 400, 800 ISO. That is really the thing about these lights. These lights, you can cheat. Luckily, we're in a period right now where people really want natural lighting, but they also want to look better. Best way to look better is a big ass soft light. Big ass soft light is the thing that's going to make everything on your face look much, much better. That's why beauty studios are covered in them. What you don't want is hard lights that create shadows. So this is the best way to do that, and probably one of the most price effective right now. The fact that this thing built into its ballast can take 2 V-mounts, so you can automatically walk into any room, blast the ceiling, and you're good to go, is kind of an amazing feature of this light. And honestly, if you do as much work as we do, things like that matter. Where it's like, it is sometimes a pain to find the outlet in the exam room that we happen to be filming in, especially if we're moving all over the place. So it can be really helpful to just have a light that you just pop on real quick, get some beauty light, rock and roll. I highly recommend the 600D. It can help out with anybody's practice, and you can find these used all the time. Why? Because there's a friggin' awesome 1200X that's out right now. It's like $3,000 or something like that, but it is the coolest light I've ever seen. You figure it twice as strong as this, although not really, because all of the D units from Aputure are actually a little stronger than the X units, because they, all of the bulbs are dedicated just to daylight instead of having to have them change and whatnot. I don't know how LEDs work, but that sounds right to me. But anyway, usually all of the Ds are stronger and all of the X's are not as strong. However, you get the bicolor nature of them. Supposedly on this 1200X, it has full LED capability, so you can use it essentially, instead of a 300C, you can have a 1200X that can do the same color range but has a lot more juice. So I think that's probably the next light I would be interested in. A lot of our work's in medical buildings where the lighting is just terrible and ugly. That might be something that we use, because every once in a while you get in a situation where you do want that bicolor. But for me, most of our stuff, I have the ability to turn the lights off and just have daylight coming in from windows and then use this to supplement it, and you're just fine. So 600D is an excellent addition to anyone's arsenal, and I would check on eBay for them, because they're just beasts of units, and the fact that now we've figured out how to fly and travel with them means I think they really might be the light to beat, because I don't know if I could fit a 1200X inside a flight kit, but I know I can do it with this. So essentially, what used to be the biggest, baddest light might now be the most travel-friendly light for planes if you're checking a bag. Aputure Lightstorm 600D. We kind of went all over the place, but if you want me to explain more of this, doesn't matter if you want me to do it or not, I'm going to, because we believe in a high quantity of content going out all the time. So there will be more videos like this. I hope you were able to take something away from it. I'm actually really glad that I was able to provide a little bit of value with the Brookstone luggage carrier. So if you take nothing else away from this, because trust me, I Googled, you can put a 600D in its original packaging in a extra large check bag and fly it on Southwest without paying anything extra, or American. You will be underneath the 50-pound limit. So if you were looking for less than 50 pounds, big ass light to solve any of your problems when you travel, I recommend the 600D. Bam, we got there. There's value. We provided value. Great job, great job, great job. This is our YouTube channel, so subscribe to the Video Content Factory for more information like this. I'm sure you'll see a bunch of this on Instagram, and we're making reels too. So follow us, enjoy us, ask me questions. I've been in the game for coming up on 20 years, which is wild to say, but yeah, I'll be coming up on 20 years in this industry professionally next year. So if you got any questions or you want to work with us, let me know.